How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the proof room. Today is an awesome day. We're going to be bottling our hard apple cider. Alright guys, today we're going to be bottling our hard apple cider. To do this, to get started, I'm going to add, I got 2 gallons of warm water in this bucket, and I'm going to add about 1/4 ounce of Star San to that. Alright guys, if you don't know what Star San is, it's an acid sanitizer. It's something standard in beer brewing and winemaking that most people use, or something like this, maybe an alternative product to this. But this works really good. It keeps everything sanitized, and that way we don't get an infection after we bottle our cider. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to our bucket, and like I said, I got about 1/4 ounce to 2 gallons here. See if we can't pour it in. There we go. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. In our bottling bucket, we have a few things here. I don't want to mix it too much because I don't want to get too much foam. But I have a bottling wand, our siphon hose, we can take out now and kind of let dry, and our bottle scrubber. The next step to this, I think this is good to go, we can take this out too, is going to be to sanitize our bottles. Move this over here. Down here I have a 24 pack of brand new bottles, brown bottles that we're going to put this cider in. We should use probably 24. I do have some extra ones just in case. But the first thing we're going to do is just dunk these in, fill them up. One at a time, switch them around, and let them all drain out. And try to get as much of this stuff out as you can, and put them right back in one at a time. So I'm going to do all the rest of these, and we'll skip forward until we're ready to go. Now that I got all my bottles sanitized, I did 38 of them. We had 3 gallons of cider. I figured that's pretty close. That might leave me a little extra cider to put into a container here and do my gravity readings and stuff like that. So the next step is I have a large red bowl here. I'm going to go ahead and add my caps here. I have 50 of them. I'm going to go ahead and just add them all right to that. And then take some of our sanitized solution and cover them up. And then I'm going to take the rest of our solution out of our bottling bucket, and I'm just going to dump it right out. Alright. I just have a bucket sitting over there to hold, water and stuff that we're not going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and mix those up. I'm going to take our hydrometer out of our packaging here and stick that in there too, just to make sure I got everything sanitized the best I can. I've sanitized my vessel over here. We're going to go ahead and pop the cork on this, guys, and see where we're at. Take our final gravity reading, and then we'll start adding our sugar to our bucket and go from there. Alright, now we're going to take our siphon. It's been hanging here, it's fairly dry. We're going to siphon everything out of here. We're going to start by putting just enough in here to do our final gravity reading. And then we'll siphon it right into that. Now that I got it all siphoned off here, you could have went a little further, but it started to get a little cloudy, a little murky, and I'm just going to leave that stuff. I'm going to go ahead and pop my airlock back down here. Just kind of let this stuff do its thing. until I clean it out. I think I might do a video on how to reharvest that yeast, so I want to save it. Alright, so our bottling bucket is now full with about 2.5 gallons, so we're right up there. Take our gravity reading here. We got this a little full. So, see where we're at. Alright, so we're right at 1.009. So I think that will give us right around, let's see, 6.5 to 7%. Maybe 7.5, between 6.5 and 7.5. I'm pretty sure is what we'll have. So I'm gonna dump that back in there because I know everything was sanitized. And we got everything set up here. Take and rinse off my hydrometer and put it back. Alright, so now to back sweeten this and give this yeast a little more sugar to carbonate our bottles, what I'm going to do is add 2 things of concentrated apple cherry juice and 2 cups of honey. Now this honey is local honey. It was locally sourced. One of my friends that I work with regularly watched the last video, seen that I was struggling to get some honey, and called me and said, hey, I got some. So we're gonna do 2 cups of this. 2 cups of honey, 2 things of juice concentrate. We're gonna pour it right in here. Stir it up, try to get it dissolved the best we can, and then go from there. Alright guys, I struggled like hell to get that lid off, but I finally got it off, and I poured 2 cups of honey in here. Instead of heating this stuff up and pouring it in some water and diluting it, I'm just going to pour it in and mix it up and see how we go. I really don't know what else to do other than taking 15-20 minutes to heat it up on the stove. So I got a big spoon here, I sanitized it. Thank you to Brian, you know who you are. If you watched this video, man, thank you for the honey. I'm gonna go ahead and add this in. I'm gonna take a test here. Should be enough. Oh, it smells really good. Yeah, I can dig that. It's very good. Real sweet. Very good. Now this is going to be our test bottle. This is the first bottle I'm going to fill. It's going to be our test bottle as in our pressure test. So when this bottle gets as hard as like a brand new Pepsi or a brand new Coke, we know that our glass bottles are good to go. They're ready to go. And they're not going to be overcarbonated or undercarbonated. I do plan on trying to pasteurize. It'll be my first attempt at it. I've never done it before. But I figure it can't really be that hard, so we're gonna go over that too. So let's get this filled up here. I'm gonna move this to the table and kind of rearrange my camera and show you what this looks like. All right guys, now I have my bottling wand hooked to my bottling bucket, and all I'm gonna do here is take one of my sanitized bottles, stick it on here. Let's open this baby up. Fill them all the way to the top. Then when we take the wand out, it leaves just enough head space to cap. All right, I want to go over some numbers. We ended up with this finishing out right at 1.009. It started out at 1.070, which will give us right around 7.9% alcohol. 7.86 is what the calculator says. So, I mean, that'll do you. It's stronger than a strong beer, but not as strong as a wine, so I think it'll turn out great. Now, the next step in this process is to cap all these bottles. I know I had my capper somewhere, but I'll have to locate that real quick. Alright guys, this is my capper. It's just a super cheap capper I got with a kit. And what I'm going to do is I have my box here that the bottles came out of. 26 bottles. And I'll put them all back in here, and the 2 extra that I have, I'll probably just take inside. So let's get started here. Now, to start this, there's 2 separate ways you can do this. You can put the cap, there's a little magnet there, and try to get that cap centered. And take your bottle, put it on the cap, and then push down until it seals. And once you got it on there, you got a nice cap bottle. I always like to inspect the first couple just to make sure that I have a nice tight seal and no leaks. It looks pretty good. So that one's alright. I'm going to stick that one in my box. Now, my preferred way to do this is to stick the cap right on the bottle. Open this baby up. Try to get it right. But it works either way. Now I'm going to go through these bottles. I'm going to fast forward probably through all this stuff here, but I'll come back when we're done. Alright guys, I kind of wanted to go over this one more time with you just so that way we could understand the process. So what we did is we racked our hard cider into our bottling bucket, and when we racked it over, we took some of the yeast that was still in suspension and put it into our bottling bucket. Then we added sugar in the form of our honey and our fruit juice concentrate to our bottling bucket. Now that yeast that was still in suspension is gonna come alive. I mean, we just fed it a whole bunch of sugar, and it's gonna eat that sugar and produce ethanol and CO2 and carbonate our bottles. Once the carbonation reaches the proper level, then we're gonna take our bottles, we're gonna put them in a cooler with some hot water and pasteurize our bottles to kill off any yeast left, but we'll still keep the carbonation. And that means that we could store them for quite a while without having any issues. All right guys, just to let you know, right now I'm off of work with everything going on, you know, the Rona. My wife and I and our kids are quarantined to our house for the next 24 days. I think it's gonna be a rough 24 days, and hopefully this helps. It's a good thing, really. Everybody's healthy, and it'll give me some time to really put in a real effort with the channel and get better maybe at the video editing, sound production, and the filming, and really try to produce better content for you guys. So make sure you like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. We'll see you next week.